Aloha, my loyal fans. Anyone that's still out there. I am been so busy counseling and educating and enjoying life. Anyways, today is podcast number 67. It is July 12th, 2022. 2022. What a year, huh? So, I'm going to Barton Springs tonight, being part of Austin, Texas, to howl at the almost full moon in Capricorn. And I've spent the day exercising and cleaning and all of my responsibilities and meditating and sitting and reflecting on what matters to me, what's important, what my true responsibilities are. Today's podcast is inspired because of my own experience, but I want to talk about this. So I'm calling this Pain as a Backdrop. And I find any adversity or challenge I have in my life, that it's my goal to discover the gold in it, to discover what the teaching is in it, no matter how hard it is. And I've been dealing with chronic pain, a pinched nerve in my shoulder blade. I'm on my second MRI, CT, all of this, 3 different doctors, trying so many different things. And this has been going on probably 6-8 months. And but the point is as I get up every morning and meditate for 30 minutes and set the timer on my clock, no matter what, I feed my dogs, they eat their bone next to me, I feed the birds, I listen to the birds out the window and just drop in. And I gotta admit, I am a seasoned meditator, and for many, many, many sits in a row, the only screaming sensation is the throbbing, sharp pain in my shoulder blade. And it was very hard to meditate around that. So last week or so, maybe a few weeks ago now, I had this revelation. Okay, so what if this never goes away? How do I live a joyous life as full as I can, even with chronic pain? And I want to tell you that I know several people that live with chronic pain, and I have so much compassion for them. And now I have a deeper understanding because it's my experience also. But I don't want to just look at pain as physical pain. I want to look at mental pain, where your mind is just spinning and spinning and spinning, and anxiety and stress, and you can't sleep and you can't function, and you're operating from fear or guilt or something at all times. And that is just as challenging, and it's just as real as physical pain. And then we have emotional pain, people that suffer with chronic depression, where they just can't move forward. So pain, these sensations I'm talking about, these experiences I'm talking about, we're calling this podcast Pain as a Backdrop, as opposed to the focal point, is our goal on this human path for whenever it's chronic, whenever it's so bad, to remember we, at all times, even when it doesn't appear so, have a point of choice. So when things come up, when these unbearable pains come up, first let me address the mental pain. So with the spinning thoughts and with the, judgment and negative self-talk, and you're never going to get out of this, and you're never going to find someone that loves you, that values you. You're never going to find a job that honors your worth, and you're never going to get out of this financial hole, or who knows what's happening. But just relentless self-judgment happening all the time. So I want to give you a spiritual tip So it is said by some of the enlightened masters out there that to understand our mind, to use it as our friend, our ally, instead of as this thing we're trying to block. It's impossible to block it, as you know. So we have thoughts. That's how the mind works. It will come up with a thought. And so when that thought comes up, instead of pushing it away or having an aversion to it where I don't want to look at that, it's denial or resistance to it, I'd say really look at it. Look to see what that thought is, no matter how critical it is or how painful it is. Just look at it. So when a thought comes up once, it's for information. It's our being, our higher self, God, Jesus, Buddha, whoever you believe, your brain, showing you the system wants to be balanced. I'm showing you something that's off here. However you view that. So if we don't look at it and we just let it keep returning, the same thought, ongoing, nonstop, coming up, that same negative thought, then that is the definition of suffering. That's when we're suffering, is that we just keep letting it happen and blocking it and trying to push through, and we're limited in our energy. So I'm going to invite you that when those challenging negative thoughts come up, the first time it comes up, I want you to really stop everything and notice what that is. If you need to write it down, and look at that thought and ask yourself, can I do any positive action about that thought in this moment? Is there anything realistically, practically, I could do in this moment about that thought, whatever it is? And if the answer is no, there's nothing you could do, then let it go. So when the thoughts come, either address it by looking at it logically and seeing, how can I work with this? How can I change this? What's within my ability? Or ask for support. Find a friend or a family member or a counselor, someone that you can share this with without feeling like you're burdening others. Because there's a reason it keeps revisiting. There's gold in it. There's a teaching in it if we just look at it instead of it constantly being in the forefront. We want those voices, those negative thoughts, to either be looked at or let it fall to the backdrop. Let it fall to where it's not your main voice, it's not your primary voice, it's in the horizon. It's just behind you. I notice it, but not as much. How do you do that? You focus on something in the moment, some task, some creativity, some proactive movement, anything. Even if it's, I'm going to walk around my living room mindfully and count the steps. Even if it's, I'm going to go wash the dogs and notice every moment I'm washing the dogs. I'm going to go sit outside and listen to the birds, watch the squirrels. I'm going to create something creative. So see that you have a choice in that with the mental judgment and self-criticism and negativity. And either say, what are you trying to tell me? What is my being trying to balance? Or let it fall in the backdrop, where either way, you're doing something towards that thought, changing it, or you are just focusing on what is within my power right now. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to clean my house. Now, that's very similar with the emotional pain. Now, with emotional pain, unfortunately, either we've been in that place or we know people that are in that place where the pain is so great that every time you talk to them, it just feels like this negative, heavy, dark. It weighs us down. And if it's yourself and you're spewing that out, just repeating how horrible life is, how much you're never going to get through this, how sad you are, how angry you are, that is spreading this toxic environment. So to do the behavior in that way, to just repeat it, they call it this repeating the cycle of abuse. If you keep saying the same stories over and over and over to anyone that will listen, that's the same, and then my tire, I got a flat, and then my car broke down, and then my boyfriend left, and then my electric bill's higher, and it just goes on and on with all these toxic things. People will not want to engage with you because it's very hard to be around that. So compassionately, I want to say that if you want to share in a constructive, positive, beneficial way, you always ask permission first, whoever it is. Send that text out to that friend, that family member, your counselor. Can we schedule a moment? I just need some support. Just like that. And then share. I am feeling sadness. I am feeling anger because, and I'm needing help. Can you tell me what you're hearing me say? Or do you see anything I'm not seeing? How to move forward with this, how to get through this. We don't want to continue the story. We don't want to repeat it. We want to focus on a positive action and make something our primary in front of us, and the pain in the backdrop. So now I have many clients of mine, and they say they share with their partners or their best friends all of their drama going on. And I'm just going to say this. It doesn't matter if I'm your life coach or if someone else is, but I'm going to say to help sustain a healthy, mutually supportive relationship with whoever this is in your family. Share these challenges with your therapist and leave the more positive insights about, and I was suffering and then this happened, and then this beautiful bird I saw in the bird bath and it just made me smile. Share those things. At work, I just nailed it. Like, it's a new job and I really just finally got it. Like, I had a moment where I just got it. It felt so good. Share those things with your partner, with your friends, with your family members, and use your therapist your once a week, every other week. I always recommend my clients. I have several that have had breakthroughs, so I only see them every couple of months now, but that's the job. I don't want to keep them all the time. And I've also had other clients that go once a week for a year because they just really want to thoroughly get to a point, and then they'll lessen to every other week, and then they'll be once a month. And then some people, they have their breakthrough and then I don't see them for a year or 6 months or so, and then something else new comes up. So that's how it works. But to have a counselor, to have someone that you trust that you can go to and share and know that that's their job, because a good counselor is not going to let you spin in a negative way. They're going to stop you. They're going to get clarity and say, is this what I heard you say? And then you'll say, yes, that's what I said. Because you only see the negativity of it. You only see the limitations of what's happening around you, where a qualified therapist can help you see the highest way of looking at it, how to mine that gold of teachings in all these challenging situations. So now I'm going to drop back into the physical pain. So as I was sitting there a few weeks ago on my meditation, and I realized that it's not just me. There's many people out there with chronic pain, like I said, mental, emotional, or physical. And then it's like, so is this it? Like, it might be, we might not find a solution because it came randomly. It wasn't through an accident. It is changing in its nature. I'm very aware of my body, so I'm doing everything within my knowledge to do for it. And then the acceptance. So my choice here may be the acceptance that if this is there for the rest of my life, is that how I want to be identified? Like my boyfriend would, compassionately, he would say, "How are you feeling today?" And then I said, I don't want us to have that relationship. And I understand that you care. But I want you to say, like, how were your sessions today? Or how was it when you went to the gym? Or like, that's who I am. That's who I am. How was your podcast? And all of that. Because to have someone in your life where if you're the one in pain, that they're open and supportive when you need to share, when you need to know, you know what, it was just a bad night. I didn't sleep at all. There was like not one position I could find that gave me ease for much time. It was a challenging night. But even with those nights, I want to share with you, I still do my day. I go to the gym. I do it very mindfully so that I know. So it's way less weight, way less reps, way less vigor. But I know I need the circulation there. And I could tell there is nothing that is causing that pain. And I actually have better night's sleeps from doing back exercises, or exactly where that is. So that doesn't make sense to me, but there you go. That's what my body is saying it wants. And so I'm doing my day, and I notice it. And it could be on a scale of 1 to 10. It could be a pain of anywhere from 2 to 4 constantly, but I'm leaving it as the backdrop. But if I'm sitting and doing nothing or watching TV, and that's all I notice, and it's so loud, it's so sharp in sensation, and it feels like it's a 5 or a 6, and it's unbearable, then again, I want to do something proactive. Because lying around, sitting around doesn't help my pain. I don't think it helps anyone's pain. But moving, being outside, walking around your house if the weather's too hot. It's a mere 109 today again in Austin. Isn't that wonderful? I'm grateful for fans and AC. But keep doing your life. Don't allow your pain to steal your joy. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy, matter of fact. And that's how I look at it when I get into any conflicts or misunderstandings with people. I don't spin with that thought for a long time. I think no person or situation is worth stealing my joy, because I never know when this is it. Like, we don't know when it's our last day. And I spent it complaining because I was in pain. No, I found a choice. A choice was, I want to still live my life. I want to do this new recipe today. I want to make this salad with watermelon and all this juicy, watery fruits and vegetables, and it's like raw food season, so I'm really craving that. So these are my choices to live these ways. Now, if you're a meditator, or if you want to take on meditating to work with pain, I've mentioned this in other podcasts. So for myself, when I sit on my cushion on my couch, and I put a pillow on my lap so that I don't pull on my shoulders. So really make yourself comfortable. And if you can't sit cross-legged, then sit in a chair, but just don't cut the circulation of your sciatic. So have your feet on a pillow so that it's lifted a little bit and there's no pressure as you're sitting. And to just really notice, so I notice the breathing, the sensations of the breathing in the nostrils, just really noticing, is it right, is it left, is it equal? Noticing, is it warm or cool? Noticing if the inhale is longer than the exhale, or vice versa. At the same time that I'm noticing the breathing, and every time my mind takes me away, I just gently, just like I'm guiding a young child, gently bring it back and just breathe. Just notice the breathing again. Every time I just gently come back and, okay, I notice that moment of breathing and that moment. And then I bring in the sound. So I listen to the sounds in the room, maybe my roommate's upstairs or my dog snoring, or crunching their bone, or the birds outside. So I always crack the window a little bit so that I can hear the birds in the morning. I love that sound, and it really just helps me settle in and be peaceful. And no matter what, I keep that 30 minutes, like that's my focus. So if I want to do an activity or meet a friend or something, then I just have to get up earlier, regardless of what the night was like or not. I am being gentle, and I am sometimes leaving things that are flexible to see, let's see what kind of a night I had, because I don't want to push myself. I want to be very compassionate. But I want to say that oftentimes chronic pain is similar to childhood wounds that are not addressed. And if we were to address this back to inner child work, which is one of my wheelhouses, I would say that pretend you're responsible for a younger version of yourself. And I want you to scan. This is a little inner child exercise. Scan and just instinctively, how old is he or she? And trust your first answer, like whatever that is. So this is about really trusting this, and visualize this younger self of you sitting on your lap, leaning against you, and you could just notice the breathing. Maybe put your hands on your belly or on your heart, and just notice the breathing. Notice the rhythm of the breath as the belly rises and falls. But maybe your eyes are closed and you're visualizing this little you there. And this little version of you is telling you about this pain, this emotional pain, this mental, these bad thoughts they're having, or this physical pain. And tell me how you would show up for that little person. What do you do with that? And this is after we know it's not about fixing it. There's nothing we can do to fix it. We just see that they're really, really sad, or in so much pain, or they're moaning or crying, or they're just feeling so bad about themselves. And what is your first response with that little person that you're there for? So, hopefully, you're going to acknowledge them and their pain on whatever level it is. And you're going to say something like, I know how much you're hurting. I'm so sorry you're in pain. Like very sincerely. So what you're doing is you're actually naming it and affirming that you see them, that they're not making it up, that they're worthy of being seen and heard. And again, that alone makes such a difference, even more than I have the solution. It's just first, oh, I hear you. Oh my goodness, that sounds horrible. I'm so sorry you're going through this. That compassion for ourselves is so important. These all become tools for this pain in the backdrop to make it more just fading out instead of the forefront. It sometimes needs us to bring that tenderness. So visualize this gentle hug or this compassion, and say whatever encouraging words come to mind, whatever you wish was said to you. Like, this is you tending to you. This is you self-soothing you. So it would be things like, it's okay. I'm here with you. You're not alone in this. I'm just here to hold you. I know how much you're hurting. It's going to be okay. You're so brave. You're doing the best you can. Now see how all of those phrases land. And when it's a phrase that's, quote, the right one for you, meaning it will land and light up your inner child, you are physically going to feel this sense of warmth, of this fullness through your heart area. Many times tears may flow because you're feeling this wholeness, this unity, this I can meet me, I can reach that deep part of me that's been in pain for so long, and to hear that you're not alone. No one could take this from you, this superpower, this tool, this inner child work, helping chronic pain. This is within your ability. This is your choice. So we're looking at this acceptance piece and seeing it may not change ever, or at least not in this moment. And we can view this pain as the backdrop and not your identity. You are not this pain. You are not this depression. You are not this angry person or this sad person. You are not this victim. You are not this person with hip pain, with stomach ulcers, with back pain, with you could barely walk. You're not that person. You have come in as this full being that is purposeful, that is loving, that needs connection and hugs, that handles your responsibilities that you're creating in your life, because that helps link you up to everything. And you notice pain in addition to all you are. It is a subtext. It is, oh, and yes, there's still pain. But that wasn't my focus today. My focus was meditating and cleaning and exercising and now doing a podcast. Me, right now, I'm telling you that. So I want you to see that we always have a choice, and we have a power to see where is our focus. We want that pain to be in the backdrop. And what is our choice in the moment? I could get an ice pack. I could do some gentle stretches. Another tool for pain, physical pain, is using your breath to visualize the area where there's pain. Now, if this is discursive thoughts in your mind, or if your heart is sad, you could do the same visualization. And there we're using inhaling, and inhaling where there's space in that area. And if you have a favorite color, it could be golden yellow, or it could be a deep cooling blue for those nerve endings. It could be the flame, the red brilliant flame of your heart. It could be that clear glistening white in your brain. And using your breath to inhale and create spaciousness and expansion. And just do that for at least 5 or 6 rounds, where your inhale is going specifically to the point in your body that needs attention. And inhale like you're blowing up a balloon, creating space with whatever color really lights you up, really makes you feel soothed. And then exhaling any tightness, anything not in your control, just let it go, let it go. And inhale again, creating that spaciousness. And throughout the day to use that exercise. If the pain comes back, if the negative thinking or the sadness or anger comes back, and just visualize that in your heart, visualize it in your brain, visualize it in any part of your body. And know that this is within your scope. And another exercise I want to offer you before I end this podcast. I've been giving this to a few of my clients lately. So how do we create something more as the forefront when we're in so much pain? So my answer is always going to be a self-care routine, something that supports you, something that strengthens you, something that lights you up naturally, that natural high. So I want you to take your beloved Post-its, and if you don't have any, this could be part of the problem. So treat yourself to some Post-its. And I want you to write down 5 bullet points of self-care activities that you will commit to doing every day, no matter what. Just write these right now, without thinking. Put this on pause. Write them down, without thinking. What I want you to do is So this could be examples: meditation or prayer, exercising, journaling, lighting incense, sea salt baths, aromatherapy, sitting outside in nature, anything that makes you feel good, sitting and reading a good book with the TV off, turning off your cell phone for the day or for 3 hours or however that is, painting, any of these things, dancing. So I want you to write down 5 things that you'll commit to. And like, for instance, if it's going for a walk or some type of exercise, I'm going to ask you, just for me, for the first week, just for these 7 days that you begin this, that let the longest thing on this Post-it be 30 minutes. I want this to all be doable. So let's say your exercise piece or your creative piece is 30 minutes. And the other things, journaling, meditating, prayer, dancing, exercise, whatever else you're going to do, let those be 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So total, I'd like it to be no more than 1 hour. But this is 1 hour for you every single day. I've said this before, if you could develop habits to do this at the same time every day, the body loves it, the emotions love it, and you will start to feel this ease, this comfort. It's just like my clients that have their sessions at the same time every week. All their stuff starts to come up the night before, where they know, okay, I know I'm bringing this to the session, because the body gets used to it. It knows their space and someone cares. You're the person that cares in their space. So I want you to commit to this exercise for 7 days, doing everything on your Post-it, and find a calendar where you could check it off, because there's something extremely satisfying about checking off that Post-it. You feel very accomplished. This is you in charge of your life. This is a focal point, so the pain can be the backdrop. And if that 1 week you noticed even a tiny shift for the better, then commit to 1 more week. Do 1 week at a time until you're getting to your 30-day mark, where we're reprogramming the mother cells. And then it's becoming a new programmed habit where it's not so challenging. It's like you wake up with excitement and, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to plan my schedule around it, or I'm doing all this before work, and this is so exciting. And at that point, if you want to do more than 30 minutes or more than 10 minutes or more than whatever it is, then I want you to say, okay, I'm ready to fly. So all of this is within your reach. It's your point of choice, and it's how we make that the focal point of our life. All of those self-care are supporting us and making us great and making us the beings that we're here, our full potential. And the pain is in the backdrop, and it may or may not go away. And compassionately, I say, I get it, and I know that. But I guarantee when you change your focus, when you harness the mind for the good instead of letting it run its course, it will be so much fuller of a life and more joyous of a life. So gratefully for all I am learning and experiencing and able to share, hopefully to help others. Every pain I have, I look for the gold. I go mining, and I want to see what was the point of this adversity, what was the point of this sadness or this limitation, and I find it because I look for it. That's how I began my life coach practice, is saying that I'm the same as all of you out there. We suffer, we have hard times, we have easy times, but we have the tools within our grasp to make it better. You have the support. I offer my life coaching. That's my main purpose on this planet. I'm $100 an hour, or 2 sessions for $150, and those never expire. You could do them whenever you want. Or if you get into a regular routine that the being loves, regular sessions, weekly or bi-weekly, I sell 4 for $270. And I also am offering a summer special for any of my regular clients. To refer a new client, you will get a free session. And that's perfect. And if both of you are new, you could split the $100 fee where it's $50 a piece for that first time. And I do this all through Zoom or FaceTime. And I am in Austin, Texas, Central Time. I have European clients. I have West Coast, East Coast, Central. My phone number is 808-283-7587. Text me anytime. My phone does not make sound because I have clients on all time zones. And my email, if you prefer to email me, is Samana, SAMANA, at SPALUNA.com. Blessings. Enjoy this full moon. Enjoy making that pain more of a backdrop, and your joy and your vitality and brilliance more of what everybody sees and radiates out. Aloha.